You're live now, so.
Uh-oh, no, I didn't say that. Scratch that. Okay, so anyway, first question is everybody ready for 2017?
No.
Yeah? So you're all set, ready to rock, just turning the crank, everything's going great, right? So one of the things is, as we launch into this discussion is, right, basically you're the beginning and the end of your story. And that's one of the things that I always say is that it starts with you, whether you're a small business or you're a CEO running a large business. Does anybody have any doubt that there's a lot of changes in store for 2017? Okay, the question that you need to ask is, are you ready? Are you satisfied? Are you just going to try and hunker down and make sure those changes don't rock your world? Or are you going to really move into a role where you can take advantage of those changes? So that's what we're going to talk about here. As a small business owner, every business that I know, every business I've been a part of in my career has, they go through the process of rethinking or planning for this year. And usually they start a little before now, but we're going to start now, and we're going to really talk about how we can possibly take our businesses to the next level. Jena's here. Jena and I are working on a project, actually several projects, but the one we're going to talk about today is the Vision Challenge, and we're going to go into that. Jena, do you have anything to say?
I would just say, does anyone have any New Year's resolutions in the room?
I don't believe in that.
I'm with Randy. I don't believe in them. I think that they're too short-sighted,
Right.
that they ended up failing by January, at the end of January anyway. So the Vision Challenge, one of the things that, as an outcome of completing the challenge that you can have, is really a definitive, very specific goal. I'm a big goal tabulator thing in an Evernote template. If you want to drop me your business card at the end, I can send you the link to it, and it helps you with this. But by taking those definitive goals that you can create with this Vision Challenge, and then really walking it backwards, and picking the very specific things you need to do to accomplish those goals. And I think you said it's a 9 to 12 month time frame?
90 days to 12 months,
90
usually.
days.
There we go. Okay, sorry about that for those online. We didn't intentionally turn you off. We just paused. Hope we paused at a good place. Okay, so if you want to just advance to the next slide. This is my background, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time. A lot of you know me, but I have over 35 years of business transformation and growth experience, both commercial and cross industry, a nonprofit, as well as in ministry, and so I've done a lot of that. My focus today, my focus is helping aspirational leaders. As leaders are, how many of you are leaders? You should all raise your hand. You're all leaders. How many are aspirational? You should all be aspirational, because you can't be a leader if you're not aspiring, because there's no place for people. If you're a leader and you're standing in one place, you're done. I mean, there's nothing to follow, right? So you're aspiring, you're moving forward. So the key is, do you want to take your business next level? Jena, you can introduce yourself here.
I do digital marketing, and I've also gotten some of that into business consulting. So whatever needs to be done or whatever problems need to be solved, if it can be done digitally, I can help you with that.
And Jena's kind of, she's modest, but we call her a marketing warfare specialist. That goes with her military background. So she military intelligence, which is kind of an oxymoron, but but anyway, we're going to go with it. This is if you were here for my spotlight. Sorry, I didn't mean to pull your hair. If you were here for the spotlight, we talked about this. Businesses large and small are really facing exponential change with our geopolitical situation right now. If nothing else, there's a lot of changes on the horizon. There's a lot of things that are going to change. A lot of changes if you're in insurance, if you're in financial industry, if you're in any business, investments, if you're into even manufacturing or
and you don't know the changes.
And you don't know what it is. So, but what can you know? And that's what we're going to talk about. So the problem is, too many small businesses start out with a great idea. They start out with something, but a large percentage of them, 80%, fail in less than 18 months. So if you've been around in your business for 18 months, the good news is you're not in the 80%. If you've been in your business more than 10 years and you're still around, you're in the top 4%. 10% fail in 90 days. So if there's somebody here that's just launching and starting off in their new business, we may not see you. If we don't see you, we'll know that maybe 3 months from now you didn't make it.
If they start.
So if they start. So the question, the thing, I love these two pictures because one is a very well-developed city who's got its act together, right? It's sitting there, it's on the coast, and here comes this big wave. Can it move? No. Is it stuck? Yes. Is it going to be trashed? Of course. It's going to be affected by this wave. On the other hand, you have the surfer down here who's saying, okay, I'm ready to catch this wave. I'm waiting for the next wave. But does the surfer wait till the wave gets there? Anybody surf? I've actually tried.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Boogie board.
Yeah. No, I've actually been on the coast. I took surfing lessons in Hawaii one time. It's a different experience. Number one, you have to know how to do it. But then number two, so you need to know your business, but you need to see those changes and anticipate those changes coming and then start doing stuff ahead of time. But we're going to talk about what do you do now or redo if you've been in business for a while. That's what the Vision Challenge is all about. So we're going to talk about, again, a lot of people say, well, what does that mean? It's 10 days. What the Vision Challenge is a 10-day free process, still free, right? Yeah. That we embarked upon. We did a test group. Who was Randy? You were in the test group.
Karen. Brianne.
Yeah, right. So we have a few people in here.
Oh,
Yeah.
you made it like 3 or 4, right?
Any testimonies? Any?
Yeah, as I wrote into.
Oh, his is long.
Oh, yeah. I read yours. Don't give me the whole thing.
Basically, when I moved down to Texas, I was telling people here I knew nobody, and this was a great opportunity for me to rethink the strategy that I had put together when I started the consultancy.
Sure.
So it worked very well for me.
I think one of the big feedback that I got, because I had asked like everyone who went through the seed, was it was hard.
Yeah.
You can do it on a cursory level that takes like no time at all, but if you really try to utilize it in a way that's really going to transform your business and your life, it takes time, and you have to like dedicate an hour a day to it.
It's like going to confession.
It's hard, and it makes you feel a little vulnerable, which is the point.
Right. So that is kind of the testimony. What we want to do today is kind of train you. If you walk out of this, and I'm going to walk out of.
Why don't you talk?
Okay, I'll talk, and Jen will pass it. This is just to take notes, and you don't have to take notes. You can have it. You walk out of here, and you just walk out with these note sheets, and you just even the few high point questions that we ask there, and you ask yourself these questions. You'll realize if you don't have the answers to these questions, then whether you do it as part of our Vision Challenge, or whether you decide to do it on your own, or you've got somebody you want to pay $20,000 for 4 hours, like the guy that I work with that helped me develop this, then have at it. But the point is, this is an opportunity to really focus on these things one day at a time. So the first day is really something really basic, right? Everybody knows their why, right? Do you? The answer is, what inspires you about your business? You're here today. You're telling people, some of you look pretty serious and tired, and it's cold outside and all that stuff. But what is it that gets you energized? What is it about your business? That's your why. What is your passion about your business? What is your why? Why are you doing this? Are you just doing it for money? What are you going to do with if you're doing it for money, what are you going to do with the money? Because what you're going to do with the money is going to create passion. I would be a little bit excited about seeing a room full of money over here that was mine. On the other hand, or a big number in my bank account, but your excitement really comes, what am I going to do with that? I'm going to pay off the debts at the church, or I'm going to buy my parents a new home, or whatever it happens to be, or take care. It's something that's going to get you.
What makes you fall out of the bed and be happy about it?
Right. Okay, so let's go to day 2, because I don't want to spend. This is not the Vision Challenge. This is giving you an idea of what takes place in these 10 days. Actually, it ends actually being 12 days. But so day 2 is your dream vision.
That's David's big question.
This is if anything were possible. That's an important. If anything were possible, that means no limitations. I got all the money I need, whatever you would normally say. It's not a requirement, experience, having done it before. If anything were possible, what kind of future could you imagine?
And this is anything. And like one of the examples I really like is, it's really easy for us to put all these limitations in front of us, all these mountains that are like, oh, I can't climb that because of A, B, and C. There is literally a quadriplegic, like missing all 4 limbs, and he has climbed Mount, how do you say it, Kilimanjaro? There we go. He's climbed that mountain and is now an aspirational leader, especially to United States veterans coming back from war who are missing their limbs.
Right.
No one can say that that's not a limitation, but he overcame that in just amazing different ways of strapping tires to his, nubs so that he could handle the terrain. So truly, if anything were possible, so take away all the limitations, whether it be age or the type of business you're in or the failures of the past, kids, anything. Take away all the possibilities. What kind of future can you imagine? Right.
And so the thing is, and that's a holistic vision. And I'm not going to go, I did a whole training on this earlier if you were here in the group, and it's out, I think it's out there. Yeah, I think it's on the Business Growth Network, on getting your mind around all the environments of your life that are affected by this whole story. So it's not a real simple question. This actually you could take the entire time working on, because it involves, what is your dream home, location, style, size, whatever. What's your dream business? How much income do you want? What's the value you're providing the market? What kind of tools are you using? What kind of technology?
Do you want to
How's
stay
your
in
business
Dallas?
structured? Is it a sole, what is it? Describe your dream self, your health. I mean, I've told everybody I'm going to have a 6-pack. I mean, it's a 12-pack right now, but but I'm gonna. That's my dream vision, is that I'm gonna actually look in the mirror and not see excess belly fat. That's one of the things. But see, you say, oh, that's kind of silly. No, it actually has all of the things. Your health
is your greatest wealth.
Is your greatest wealth. Who says that? Who says that? Mark says that. Yeah, we have but the thing is, it's true. Every aspect of your life and that if anything were possible affects everything else. You can't do your business, even if you're a large corporation. A CEO can't do his large. Inevitably, when we start working one-on-one with a CEO, guess what it comes out to? I need somebody maybe to do marriage counseling. I need somebody to maybe do personal financial planning, right? You do financial planning. You work with high net worth people. It's not, they don't have it all figured out.
No.
And in fact, sometimes they're more messed up because one aspect of their life is going well and the air is coming out of their tire every place else. And so the key really here is, what is your dream? If anything were possible, what kind of future would you imagine? Then we get into some of the fundamentals of, okay, so now let's say you've got that figured out after day 2. You're not done. Okay, the thing is, what does your audience look like? Who is your client? Jenna, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Your audience, think about something in the same way that your vision challenge needs to be hyper specific. This is also your audience and your ideal client. You need to know everything. I think Randy, one of his feedback was, why do I need to know what my clients drink? Why do I need to know their favorite beverage? You want to know their favorite beverage so that when you call them off that list, or you're calling your favorite leads or whatever that might be, that you know that they want to go to Starbucks versus a bar.
Or if you're putting a Facebook post out there, that's going to engage them.
But you want to know exactly, when you start to get into advertising, you need to know the best ways to target them. Now, part of this question comes specifically from my background in digital marketing. When I get on Facebook or I get on Google, I can target people who eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So then your image can be, your stock photography, can be a peanut butter and jelly sandwich being smashed in someone's face instead of whipped cream on pie face. Whatever. It can be crazy, but those little details matter, because if you try to advertise to everyone, you advertise to no one, because every single individual is so incredibly different that you just do it very ineffectively. Now, on the flip side, if you target Grover, you write down everything about Grover. You can even take him to lunch if that's your ideal client and have him fill it out. Now you get FaceTime with a client too, right? Mm-hmm. But now you can advertise. Grover's not the only Grover-ish person in the world. There's someone very similar who's in financial advising, who has a gregarious personality that everyone loves, who likes, I don't know, a nice whiskey. But that's going to be a personality type, and you can start to target that way. And the other reason that this is very important is it would be nice to sell to everybody, but there's someone out there that you prefer working with. I know that there are clients that I prefer working with. I don't like medium and large companies because I'm only going to buy them another yacht or a pony or whatever. Whereas if I work with a small business owner, I know that I'm putting food on the table and sending kids to college, that I'm fulfilling their dreams, not just the next level. So what is your ideal client? Who's going to make you 80% of your money anyway? Who do you like working with? Who do you not like working with? And then you can start to target and fitting them into your dream vision.
So, and the other thing is, just to be clear again, is if you get into the Vision Challenge, Jen and I have done, each day we've done Facebook Lives on each of these subjects. So if you want to even hear more of our conversation, you can go there to get to know what it's about, and that'll all be available as well as other things.
I have an addiction.
So, the next one is your catalyst moment. There's something that occurred in your, and I know Jenna's got something to say here because she's got a good catalyst moment story that she tells, and you don't necessarily have to tell. You can save it for the Vision Challenge. But anyway, there's something that occurred in your life, whether it was a loss of a job,
marriage,
kids, some change in your situation generally.
This one's usually really hard, because it's usually not a nice thing. Like, even if it's like marriage or kids, then it's like the realization that you have all these responsibilities now. Like, the catalyst moment is really where I feel like people get stuck and they don't want to keep going, because it really involves you being a little vulnerable and really honest with yourself.
So as you look at the day three, there's some questions here. What are the moments that inspired you? What was the most painful event that changed or defined your direction? What was the most positive event that inspired your dream vision? It doesn't have to be positive. You could say, I decided that I retired 11 years ago and decided I was going to spend the rest of my life doing things that mattered, that helped change people's lives. That's pretty inspirational, right? That sounds really, it doesn't have to be that. It can be, I was mad at my husband and I'm not going to tell you your story. But I was, and I decided I was going to go and make my own income. Or, something happened. It could be anything like that. But anyway, what is it for you? Because doesn't matter what it is for me.
And then after we talk about the worst day, then we want to talk about your personal reincarnation. At some point, you had to pull yourself out of the fire. You had to pull yourself out of, drop bottom and level and bring yourself up. How did you reincarnate yourself? How did you bring yourself back up? And this can be good things or bad things. It could have been a struggle. Again, this one's going to be probably a little teary-eyed and vulnerable as well, but it's really important, because when you start to go talking marketing and sales and how do you talk to your ideal client, in today's, I was just reading something about communication, and they were processing all of 2016 and how corporations and political people who got the best conversation going, who was able to get the most out of those conversations through marketing and digital media, and it was the people who were authentic. Everyone is tired of that glossy picture, and with everything that's available today, people can look around that. They know what's really going on. So you might as well be really honest with how you got there and what you're doing, because the charts on this study were way off. I mean, you can just look at, one of them was political, Donald Trump. Regardless whether you love him or hate him, he was authentically him, for better or for worse.
Right.
But the normal political conversation, they got nothing. I mean, he literally broke the chart on free advertising on media and the television. Like, all the other people were way down here because literally broke the chart, and he had over $2 billion in free media because he just said what he wanted. You cannot pay that much to get that, but because of his authenticity, he won.
So without polarizing us around the presidential candidate,
no.
the point is, think about yourself when you look at emails or posts or I get 300 emails a day. When you're getting that kind of communications, which ones do you open? Who do you really want to hear from? Do you want to hear from somebody who's going to tell you what they think you want to hear, or what they should say? Or do you want to learn something from somebody who's been there and is willing to share that? Again, that's also part of what we're trying to get out of the Vision Challenge as well as the Business Growth Network. And we talked about last time, and we'll talk a little bit more. But the Vision Challenge is a starting point for being a meaningful part of the Business Growth Network. And we'll talk about that in a second. So go ahead, day 5 or day 6.
What does your company do?
Yeah.
I like Karen. What do you do? There we go. And she's been through this, so she has a different answer. But it's really easy to say, you know, what does my company do? I'm an insurance salesperson. Blah, 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 blah. You and 50 other people. Well, probably a lot more. In the room, 50 people, right? But what you really do and what motivates and it makes Karen passionate is she really helps people take care of their lives and all the oopsies that can happen through insurance. So it's asking, well, you know, the example that I give in the Vision Challenge is when you ask somebody, you know, Ryan, how are you doing today? No, fine. How are you really doing today? And once you add that really in that second question, you don't know what you're getting after that. They might just flood all their emotions on you.
Yeah. So it's what does your company do? What does it do really? I mean, and really is manifest. Remember at the beginning, what the first thing I said is, you are the beginning and the end of your story. So your company, even if you're part of a bigger company, your company is you. You are your company. So what is it? What do you really do? What is the value you provide?
What is your superpower? Anybody who's like Superman or Superwoman in here not telling me? No, but everybody in this room has something that they're just outstanding at. That you are the go-to person in your group, that all your friends know that this is what you are awesome at. Or at least they should. If they don't know, then you're keeping it all to yourself. And that's a big part of, we want you to acknowledge what that is that you're really good at, and then let everybody know about it. What's your superpower?
I connect the dots. Actually, that is actually I've been tested at a very early age that I'm able to the trait of abstract conceptualization. I see pictures in my head. Maybe it's I don't hear voices. I just see pictures. But I see,
dead people.
Yeah. But I see pictures in my head of how things come together, and that's why, you know, that's why I've been able to be successful as I've reflected over that of what I've done. So that's inherent in what I bring to the table that even somebody doing the same thing as I do may or may not. You know, so that's just unique. I mean, you know, for me, that's my superpower.
Anybody have a superpower they want to share?
Yeah, what's your superpower, Randy?
My passion and my superpower is helping companies and people write winning proposals.
There we go. Proposal writer.
Yeah, winning proposals.
Winning proposals,
Winning.
right?
Yeah. Important attribute.
So we kind of talked about audience earlier. Audience is going to be like a little bit bigger. That's going to be like your general population. And then this one's going to refine it down to your ideal. Out of that audience, which one of those people is the one that matters most? I cannot remember who came up with the concept, but the 80-20 rule, that 20% of your effort yields 80% of your results. This is kind of where that comes from. There's going to be an audience that you speak to. Maybe it's stay-at-home moms. But there's going to be one particular ideal client out of all stay-at-home moms. Maybe it's the suburban 30 to 35 with income over 150. I have no idea. But there's one ideal client that's going to be better for you than all the other ones. And this is one that's going to help you pick them out. And I want you to actually name them Entrepreneur Bob. Whatever that is, something that's descriptive. And that's the one I want you to know every single thing about them. Every little finite detail.
Okay, we got 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Client experience. So hurry up.
Yeah.
This is more.
We're not doing the whole thing, right? This is over a 12-day period.
So your client experience, and this is where I see a lot of people lacking. They chase a bunch of shiny objects. Oh, I need tchotchkes, I need this, I need that. I want you to write down your entire client experience. Are you going to find your clients in a networking? After you network with them, are you going to have a one-on-one with them? Are you going to send them a follow-up email? Are you going to sign them up to a newsletter? Are you going to visit them and give them their favorite drink? How do you get them from knowing you exist all the way to giving you that referral?
Yeah, from
that
the 30-second
whole process.
From the 30-second advertisement or the handshake and the card exchange, all the way to where you have an ongoing relationship with them as a client.
And this is also, you might know it as a sales process, just a little bit more in depth. But then if something doesn't work, you know that there's a problem at, everyone gets to 3, they're not getting to number 4. And then you can start fixing things. And results. the first thing in my little thing that I asked for is I would like some results. We did like a basic seed launch, that's what it's known in marketing, and I need results and social proof to help pitch it to everyone else. A picture, somebody saying, you know, this was awesome, or just even sometimes feedback. You know, I really didn't get through. I got stuck on number 3. It was just too much for me. Somebody told me they needed more time. Can we do 2 a week? Like, that's a little bit much. So, but you need that social proof because that's a lot of times why people buy. There are some people that's all they need is saying, hey, Grover sat down with my finances and showed me all these ways I could save money and make money, and I'm actually might get to retire now. So happy. So those are important.
Yeah, in fact.
You just did Mark's floor, or no. Yeah, you did Mark Weber's flooring, and he was able to show pictures, and that can be the social proof that your client is needing to push them over the edge and get them to buy.
Right? Yeah. I mean, again, and those are the kinds of things that you need to take advantage of as you go through, and as we go through with the business.
Pulling it all together, share it. As you're doing these things, as you're figuring them out, do not be afraid to share it with your social groups. Everyone's like, oh, what will people think with me? What if I invite them to my business page? What will they think? If I show that, you know, my superpower is this, they're going to think I'm arrogant or egotistical? Maybe they're not a good friend. You're sharing the best part of you, what you do every day. But I have never seen anybody complain that somebody was sharing that these sorts of things with their group. So do not be afraid to share with your group, because when you especially consider like your personal pages, but also your business pages, those are people who can refer people back to you. They may not be your clients, but then if somebody comes to them, they can refer you.
Understand that what we're trying to accomplish here is something that up to this point for me has been a very consultative, very interactive, one-on-one type of process. So what we've really tried to do here is begin to evoke through this 10-day process those kinds of questions and answers that you would come up with, because one of the things we didn't say is pulling it all together. Each day there's a journal. There's going to be a journal form, editable form that you can put information into, that you come away with a package of information that answers these questions that you can have, and not just set on a shelf, but actually use that then to sit down with a mentor or other business partners or other people, maybe even investors, people that you would want if you know, I don't know what your business is, but it could be anything. But if you can articulate your authentic dream vision, yourself, your dream vision, here's my strengths, here's my weaknesses, here's where I'm going. Anybody ever watch Shark Tank? I mean, what do you think what do you think are they looking for when they make those people stand up there and present? They're not they know they've got a balance sheet. They know they've checked off them, but they want real authentic people that they can bet on, that they can invest their time in. That's what I look for. I retired 11 years ago. Bill Gates can't buy yesterday. Time is my most valuable resource. We're going to spend time with people who pull it together, that are aspiring leaders. So, how do you do this? It's real easy. businessgrowthnetwork.org/VC. As I talked about before, the .org means something. We're not this is not something we're out trying to build a multi-billion-dollar business. This is intended to be a way to provide resources, starting with the Vision Challenge, which is free, then providing access not only to each other, but also to all the possible expertise. Plus, we want to get to the point where we are growing the leadership in a network to be able to help other people. So if you've ever aspired to be recognized within a group of people as being an expert in your industry, with what you offer, with your dream story, that's what we're trying to achieve here, as a vehicle for you to come in. You're not a guru. You're part of a network that adds value. And you're building your network and your team through the interaction here. And then the last one is, this is, for those that saw the last presentation, the kind of the portal, if you will, to the Business Growth Network Insiders is doing the Vision Challenge. That's free. You can do that at any time. If you're a Business Growth Insiders Network.org member, you can have access to all the information right now. Although I do believe that there is benefit to doing it with those who have done it say, parsing it up, it's overwhelming when you look at it, and like we just gave it to you. Where do I start? What do I do? Walking through it day by day with some some interaction and some, hey, I had trouble with this or whatever, posting it, getting some help from other people that are
And we
on the
have a
journey with you.
private Facebook group just for the Vision Challenge. So if you have a question as you're going through the different prompts, you can go over to that group and ask the question.
Right.
There'll be people who've already done it there, and then David and I will be monitoring it at all times, to jump on it and answer those questions.
So what we're doing here is that we're pre-launch. January 16th is when the next Vision Challenge is. Okay, and then we're pre-launch in terms of the businessgrowthnetwork.org. Although if you signed up for this, you can get to the back office, right, and get some of this information. And there's going to be more and more. And what we're going to do is everything from financial, from marketing, from all aspects of your business is going to be available through this network, not through one master guru that you pay and then say, well, I'm not sure if he's the best one or she's the best. We're going to actually, through people who are actually doing things and actually applying, it's going to be through the members of this network. And
the goal
so
is one a month.
Yeah.
It might be asking a lot, but one a month. So by the end, right now the Vision Challenge is in there, so you can do it at your own pace anytime. By the end of the day, I would like to get the marketing strategy back up in there and rebranded. And by the end of next week, I should have a business plan in there where you can just slide in there and start working on a business plan in a really easy, non-corporate way where it's not going to be a packet this big.
how many have a business plan that you handed to an investor and said, this is my business, I'd like for you to invest?
Or just a business plan for you.
Well, I'm saying
for your goals.
if you should, I mean, not many people do, but this will be something that you can use to explain to somebody who's looking to either get in business with you or fund your business or partner with you or whatever.
It's not just for business owners either. If you're a sales professional, if you're any kind of professional, having kind of a business plan and a structure to your 2017 going forward, that's how you finish goals. When you know exactly what your marks you need to hit are and exactly your plan of attack for hitting those goals, that's when results happen. I think the most efficient, effective year I've ever had is when I did one of those for myself as just an assistant designer working at a company, and it had my personal goals in there and my business goals and everything, and man, I knocked it out of the park that year.
So for those on the Facebook Live, we're going to keep running for a little bit just because, but we're done for this. I'm going to do a couple of housekeeping. We're not going to do thank yous today. We're going to go ahead and just allow you to network at will. But are there any questions about this that you have? Yes, Lynn.
How important is it to go in order on these questions? Because just looking at them right now, like I could go to number 3 way before I go to number 4.
It's actually let me answer that because we spent a lot of time. I changed it. Okay, so the important thing here that you will get if going through this is as you get to the back end, I'm less concerned. The front end, the first four are really important to do before you spend time on the other. You're exactly right. The thing is, it's easier to go and define what I'm doing than it is to define where I want to go. And the hard part is, the part of this whole methodology is different than a traditional consulting approach where you would pay a consultant millions of dollars ongoing forever to help you do things, because you would basically say, here's what I've done in the past. Let's collect all the data. Let's analyze it. This is what I'm doing today. Here's what my market looks like. Now I think I want to go here. Past, present, future. What this whole process is future back. It's starting with the thing that you want. We want you to have the most clarity on, which is your why and where you're going. And then let's figure out what I'm doing, because then you start to say, that bridge back from that place says, yeah, I know what I'm doing, but I'm not doing what is getting me there, right? It's not optimal, or there's things that I should be doing that. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why it is important. It is important.
And part of your why,
It's not intended to be easy.
part of your why
But if you
might
join-
include number 3.
Yeah.
That's not outside
Randy?
the realm of possibility.
Like I said, having gone through it, I think it is a reflective process. So you're constantly looking back, and as a result of the first 4 and the whole thing, there's a lot of aha moments that come out.
That's right.
Because if you have the vision in front of you, kind of, you think that's where I want to go, and you start building this stuff, you go, oh, crap, I can't do that.
Yeah.
And you begin to redirect. And
Which is why we started out saying it's hard.
Right.
it's hard because
It's real.
we get captive by what I call the license to operate, or what my friend Woody Buckner calls the license to operate, which is basically the day-to-day. You're paying the bills, you're getting things done, you're going into the routine. And so I know what I'm doing, but to think about transforming, to think about getting to that dream story or that dream vision that I wanted, never quite happens because I'm busy. Is busy the objective? No. So that's part of the reason. What any other questions? That's a great question, because that gets to the heart of why the sequential and why the process works, if it works, if you work it.
Is that it?
Awesome. Well, thank you for your engagement. Okay.
How much, I wanted to ask this off camera, how much you save by starting up now?
A lot, probably at least $18 a month.
So it's gonna cost.
Yeah, it's going to be. We looked at some of the systems
Or more.
costs that we'll need.
The
Again,
competitors are around
it's not
38
it's
to
a
50.
not-for-profit. So, but we're looking at what the cost for the systems, the licenses, and stuff that we'll have to keep this going, and some of the administrative support. It's probably going to at the as soon as we launch, it'll be like $2 for the first month, and then $20 every month going on. So, but this one is $2 for the people that join pre-launch. It's $2 forever. It's never we're never increasing.
You have to be a member or any guest?
Anybody. Yeah, I mean anybody. We're the first 200 that we've capped
Since
it.
it's separate from the.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Vision Challenge is always free.
Yeah, Vision Challenge you can do and redo and whatever.
We're just
In fact,
only going to run it a couple times a year because what we're doing is whenever it is going on for those 10, actually probably 3 weeks, we're really getting involved and we're making sure that we have time inside the Facebook group for the Vision Challenge to answer all the questions. So we're separating, we're doing Facebook Lives, and we're taking a lot of our time up for that 3 weeks. So we'll probably run it 2, maybe 3 times a year.
But this kind of found why you're getting the $2, why people that are joining now are getting the $2 deal isn't just because we're trying to build the audience, but we're trying to get people that are willing to get their hands dirty a little bit, interact with us, tell us what's working, what's not. So it is something where it's going to continue to grow. We're refining it. We've got the base, but we're going to continue to improve it as we go. So for that participation,
Part of $2 is because you're putting up with me. I haven't fully coded the site yet, and we're still dripping. I want to make sure there's content in there for everyone to enjoy and get feedback from everyone, and make sure that it's working the way that it's set up. So, something like the payment thing, it's secure, which I felt like was the most important thing for, your credit card details. But it may not be the prettiest form you've ever seen. Whereas if I'm letting everyone see it, I want it to be pretty too. The back end, right now it has the Vision Challenge. I'd like to get 4 things in there, and I want to make sure there's templates and that there's whatever you need, that there's a way to ask for it. I want to make sure that, whoever we partner with, whether it's Robert's High Performance or Brand.blog or Randy's consulting company, that there's a space in there to include them and involve the actual members in a meaningful way so that everyone can work together.
yeah, there's a lot of back end benefits that are going to come.
If we join later on today, will we get in?
Till the 16th.
It's going to be to the 16th until we hit 200. We're a little ways away from that, right?
30.
So we can do it tonight, we're
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
All right. I'm
Gold
in.
bullion.
I'm in.
Gold bullion.
Yes, Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Quarters.
And we haven't implemented blockchain yet, but we're ready.
Bitcoin.
Well,
40 caliber ammo,
I'm in.
please.
Thank you very much.
No, it needs to be on the line. On the line. It needs to be online with a credit card.
Okay.
Just to make it simple. I don't want to be invoicing anybody.
No, I just didn't know if you were set up that way.
yeah, again, we're trying to do this with minimal overhead, so I mean, obviously,
An
Jen
effort
and I
because
did-
we have our own businesses.
yeah, donated a
You're
lot
trying
of
to
time.
fulfill your vision at the same time.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Welcome, Zip. I saw you sneak in
Oh,
at the
zip
back.
snuck in.
Goodness. He's alive. It's snowing outside.
It's snowing.